No, I promise this isn't a second take. I promise I didn't get this completely wrong the first time. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, anime community, basketball community alike, or YouTube basketball community alike, this is the merge. I take a group of basketball YouTubers and I see who I can compare them to with anime basketball players. We bring them together and we see who they play like. Who are the similarities? Who would you pick? Now, granted, some of these basketball players they're not the best when it comes to a 5v5 setting. So everybody can only base them on 1v1s. Some of the anime characters have OP abilities. So I did my best to compare them. Some are compared with skill-wise. Some personality-based. You'll get to that when we get to that. Some are perfect matchups. Some, not so much. We're going to start off with this comparison right here. HoopinLife. Nelson Chan. His comparison, you're going to have to bear with me here, because these names are out of control. His comparison, from Ahira no Sora, Tokitaka, Tokiwa. Now, Mr. HoopinLife, Nelson Chan, is someone I originally started watching from sneaker reviews. I originally saw his reviews on the KD12s and 13s. And I believe some LeBrons too. And Kyrie's. Originally I thought, this is interesting. I'm gonna subscribe for this. Then I saw he actually hoops. And then I saw he was actually good. And then he became a professional for the Macau Black Bears over in, I want to say China? I believe China. I was like, oh yeah, he official. And he's not just a 1v1 type person. He's not that. I say he's professional. Means he knows the 5v5 game. So, when playing 5v5, I refer to his 2 games against the Filipino professionals. While you could argue he was the best player on the court, even though he was injured at the time. I mean, even though he's been injured for like a year or two now. He's been injured since COVID started. You can still argue he was the best player on the court. But he also knows to get his teammates involved. So by getting his teammates involved, that actually made the game easier for him. And when you have someone of his ability who can go 1v1 if he wants to, making the game easier for him by getting his other teammates involved is a big help. Now granted, he went over to professionals in the Black Bears and didn't get a lot of burn. But in the burn he got, you could tell he deserved to be there. His comparison plays almost identical. Whereas if you want a bucket, he'll get a bucket. If you need someone to play defense, not the best defender, but he'll stop you. He'll get some stops for you. He's not first team all defense, but he's in consideration. If you need teammates to get involved, run that pick and roll, he'll do that. And so I believe these two are a great comparison for each other. Next up, someone who, if you're on social media, you recognize the name. If you look up some of the top basketball streetball clips, he's going to appear in a few of them. He be running to park to park and making them his own parks. I'm talking White Iverson. In his comparison, again from I Hero no Sora. This time it's the main character. Sora, this name is wild. Sora Kurimatani. Now, White Iverson, if you describe his playstyle, it's showman. He puts on a show for the crowd, and he'll score. So he's not someone who's going to dribble, and then give it up. Nah, he'll dribble around, and then he'll shoot it. And when you thought, oh no, they ain't gonna go. Oh wait, it went in. Then you think, okay, well I know who's gonna do this. Nope. You're on the ground. Oh, that ball's up and it went in. In fact, he refers to it. I have never seen anyone else refer to it, but he refers to it as Iverson Island, referred to his Instagram. That's what he said. And whom from watching him play, who am I to say otherwise? You just gotta hope he's in a good mood and not trying to. Don't get him upset. Long story short, don't get him upset. Now, he does have a disadvantage, and that being his height. Now, I don't know if it's just because he plays against other people who are drastically taller than him. Besides his game against Kenny Chow, which, if I remember correctly, he lost that one. But that is a disadvantage. But that is also a similarity that he shares with Sora. Seamless transition. Now, the only difference between these two is White Iverson's more street ball style. Sora is more in the gym style. Not saying White Iverson can't play in the gym, but majority of his highlights come at parks. But they're both similar when I say they can dribble around and get their shot, and you can't give them an inch of space or they're pulling it, as well as the height makes them similar. And then they also use their height to advantage to break a defender, as well as shoot from wherever they feel like. Next on this list, we have someone I've met personally. I met him at SneakerCon 2019, the year before the Panoramic. I'm talking I'm Davis. And his comparison is from a webtoon. So the first one that's not an anime or not a manga, it's a webtoon. His comparison is Wang Xiao. I believe that's how you pronounce it. Now, Davis, if you describe I'm Davis's playstyle, it's if you take if you're playing 2K, my controller. So you're playing 2K and you're looking, and you say, okay, I want to make a shorter-ish, even though Davis is like, if I remember correctly, he's maybe like a few inches shorter than I am, if that. A shorter player who can dribble. Okay, cool. You go in, you buy all your VC, and you realize you only have enough VC to max out one ability. And that ability is dribbling. I'm Davis dribbles his heart out. That doesn't mean he can't score. He can get to the basket. Proof being he's able to score against some players that you don't think he's able to score against. But his main focus is dribbling. It's like, it's refined, but at the same time, also like he's dribbling and running for his life. And happens to have a ball in his hand while doing it. Which helps. Which is why I make his comparison to Wang Xiao. Wait. Davis is what? He's dunking? What you mean he's dunking? Look, I'm gonna need some proof of this.
He just won a championship.
Oh. Okay, this comparison's wrong. Keep pushing. Next comparison. We got he's a hooper, but his main ability is actually on the court, but off the court. We got the cameraman. We got Antiace. And his comparison from the basketball classic anime Slam Dunk, Ryota Miyagi. Now we got another undersized hooper on this list. Trust me, we only got a few of those left. The Antiace is normally the cameraman. If you watch any basketball YouTubers, especially on the West Coast in LA, California, most times he is the cameraman. But there are certain times where he steps in front of the camera and gives work to not just some of their favorite YouTubers, but rappers as well. He has played Polo G, NLE Choppa, Sway Lee, who has arguably one of the, if not the worst jump shot form I've ever seen in my entire life. But enough of that. Antiace's strongest ability, Antiace is probably the fastest player on this list. Of everyone I'm gonna name, Antiace is probably the quickest first step, as well as breakaway speed. I know you normally don't talk about breakaway speed in basketball, but that first step, if he gets by you, most times you're not going to catch up to him unless you're longer than him, pause if needed, and can catch up to him that way. But otherwise, you're not catching him if he gets by you. But then, if you sag off him, he has in the gym range. He will shoot from anywhere, and he will make it. He's not the best three-point shooter on this list, but he will make it. But his best ability is speed and finishing. But just like everyone else, his size does come into a factor. And we've actually seen if someone tries to bully him or get at him for his size, he will fight back. Sometimes, literally. Refer to his videos with Kenny Chow. Every time they play. Really, every time they play. You think they're going to have to turn the cameras off. And I'm pretty sure sometimes they have. Now, if you watch Slam Dunk, Ryota is... Look, this is probably one of the closest mixed matchups possible. Ryota is probably the fastest person on this list that doesn't have an OP ability. As in, we're gonna get to players from Kuroko in a second, but players without an OP ability, he's the fastest. He has the ability to finish. He has 3-point shooting. He fights people. Quite literally, he will fight. So when you come to undersize, speed, and don't take shit attitude, these two are exactly the same. In fact, if these two were to play one-on-one, it will be the quickest game you will see in your life. Either because A, they're gonna just keep blowing past each other. It'll be like two rabbits in a race. Or B, they're just gonna fight each other. One's gonna accidentally foul the other one too hard, and they're gonna come to blows. It's gonna happen. The next one on this list. This person walked. He paved the way. The pioneer. The godfather. We got the professor. Street ball legend. Icon in a basketball community. His comparison? Akashi Shinjiro from Kuroko no Basket. Here is where basketball abilities get a little OP. So this is actually the second easiest comparison to put on this list. There's actually a few people I could have put Akashi with. I rotated him with 3 or 4 people, but I landed on Professor. Now, Professor, you know who the Professor. Look up Street Ball anything. One of the first few clips you're going to see is going to have the Professor in it. If you look up and 1, you're going to see the Professor. He's going to be like, oh, I don't think he can play. And next you know, you're on your back. Pause if needed. Looking up. And he's throwing a lob to somebody. All you think. You're on your back. Just broken. Dreams crushed. Ankles hurting. He makes it look so easy. Like he has a special ability. You know who does have special ability? Akashi. He literally has an Emperor's Eye, is what it's called. Whereas he's literally able to see you, not like see physically you, like spiritually see you. And off one simple crossover, you're on your ass. And when he's trying, one simple crossover, you're on your knees, pause if needed. Just looking up at him. Just in awe. He literally breaks the ankles of everybody in the show. It's like, and that's just off handles. If you want them to shoot, they can both shoot. I don't know if the Professor can dunk, but Akashi can. But I won't be surprised if they can both finish. I'll say that much. But the biggest ability, broken ankles. And speaking of broken ankles, another great segue. The next comparison on this list, we got another street ball legend. We got Bone Collector. His comparison, if you want to say Professor and Bone Collector are the same person, except one's a lot more aggressive, we gotta take the more aggressive version of Akashi, which is Nash Gold from Kuroko no Basket Extra Game, which is the movie. Now Bone Collector being the more aggressive version of the Professor, you can look up stories of Bone Collector being probably more aggressive than he should be. But that's his playstyle, and that's been his playstyle for years. Who are you to tell him otherwise? If it works for him, it works for him. Yeah, basically, he replaces any of the smooth finesseness of the Professor. You tone that down a little bit, and you crank up the disrespect. Whereas the Professor, he'll break your ankles, and then he'll throw a lob or get his teammates involved. Bone Collector will break your ankles, and he'll just look at you. Stone face. Like, how dare you think you can defend me? Then he'll shoot it. Nash Gold is, if they're, how about this? The Professor and Akashi, they're the yin. Bone Collector and Nash Gold are the yang. One's the more compassionate, and one is get the fuck off my court. The more Nash Gold being the more cruel version of Akashi. Instead of using the Emperor's Eye, he has the Demon Eye, which is the Emperor's Eye on steroids until the plot demands it and the Emperor's Eye becomes stronger than the Demon Eye. Which, that happens all the time. We've got the dribble guys out the way. Now, we got some shooters on this list. The first shooter on this list is, even if you don't watch basketball YouTubers, you'll probably know this person. We got Ricegum. YouTube personality, TV personality. He's been on TV. He's been on Wildin' Out. I don't know if he's been on other TV shows, but I wouldn't be surprised if he has been. And His comparison, Aimachi Tokiya from the manga Switch, which I actually recommend you watch Switch. You read Switch. I actually hope it becomes a manga, becomes an anime, because I would definitely watch that. Like I said, you probably look at Ricegum and be like, nah, Ricegum? He can't ball. Don't let the physique fool you. He has beaten some of the better basketball YouTubers on this list. Some better basketball YouTubers, period. He's beaten them. If I'm correct, and he has not put up any other videos, or no one else put up any other videos of them going 1v1 with Ricegum, Ricegum's undefeated 1v1, I think. Still. This is going back to early 2020. And he's undefeated because he's a great 3-point shooter. And some questionable strategies, to say the least. Insert taking a charge against Cash Nasty in a 1v1 video. Is that? I mean, it's as a strategy. I'm pretty sure he's the only person who will ever accept a charge call in a 1v1 game. But it's a strategy. He ended up winning, so... Now, his comparison, Aimachi, like Ricegum, is a knockdown shooter. They both have the ability to handle the ball. They both are quite cunning when it comes to playing basketball. They both also have a rather delicate physique, to say the least. Insert charge call against Cash Nasty. Whereas if you get all up on him and all up in his grill, pause if needed, and don't give him space to shoot, you have a chance to beat him. But if you give them an inch of space, you're in for a long day. Next on the list. This one was the easiest comparison. When I first saw this video, this is the third one comparison I thought of, but this was also the one I was like, yes, there's no other person who can be this person. We have Austin J. Mills. His comparison, Midorima Shintaro from Kuroko no Basket. Austin J. Mills, easily, and I mean easily, being the best shooter in basketball YouTube, period. I'm pretty sure if he wanted to, he could go pro and just come off the bench and shoot alone. If you want proof that he's the best 3-point shooter on YouTube, go look at the Ace Family Basketball event from a year back, 2 years back. When him and Ricegum had 3-point contests with money on the line. And he beat Ricegum. If you want more proof that he's the best shooter on YouTube, go look at his college highlights at Baylor. Yeah, the Baylor Bears. That school. Look at his college highlights there. And then come back to this and tell me he's not the best shooter on YouTube. Now I want you to take all of that, all his skills as a shooter. I want you to wrap it up into a basketball, if you will. I want you to animate the ball. And I want you to inject the ball with Chemical X. And you got Midorima. He takes your in the gym range, scoffs at it, walks outside the gym, looks through the open window, left-handed, shoots it high, walk back into the gym because he has arc on his shot, and get on defense while the ball's floating, and gets nothing but net. You have to, unlike where most basketball players, where if you get a hand up, you have a chance of defending the shot, maybe deterring it, maybe go left or right. If you don't physically block the shot of Midorima, he will never miss. Period. If Austin Mills is the best shooter on YouTube, Midorima is the best shooter in anime. Period. The next YouTuber on this list is also a name you probably wouldn't recognize with basketball. But this person, also a well-rounded three-point shooter. I won't say well-rounded. He's a three-point shooter, and that's about it. We got FaZe Rug. His comparison, also from Slam Dunk, Yoshinori Miyawasu. His name is irrelevant. Now, FaZe, Mr. Rug. I say this with all the sarcasm in the world. You see what my name is on YouTube. Say this with all the sarcasm in the world. Mr. FaZe Rug has the same BMI as Rufus from Kim Possible. He can also outshoot anybody you know in a three-point contest. And I'll put money on it. I'll put money on it. With that being said, comparing him to Yoshinori from Slam Dunk was a no-brainer. Small stature, won't start, will come off the bench, will shoot, will get underestimated on defense. He may get exposed on defense, but he'll make, while you're down there getting 2 points, he's shooting 3 points. Give and let given. It's not a phrase until I said it now. Now, the next one on this list has almost nothing to do with skill. In fact, these two have two completely different games in general. We got the Giraffe LSK, Mr. Christopher London, and we got from Kuroko no Basket, Murasakibara Atashi. Now, like I said, this entry is not based on skill. LSK is a shooter. He just has to be tall, so he can go on a post. Murasakibara is built. They're both 6'10", but one's a shooter, if you want to call him a bully, he's a bully, as in bully ball. This entry is based specifically on mindset. LSK, on separate times, has stated he does not take basketball serious anymore. And anytime he does take basketball serious, he gets injured. He could be the best shooter. He could be the best defender. Shit, he could be in the NBA. But every time he physically tries, God looks down on him and says, hey, I know I made you 6'10", but calm all that down. Know your role. Stay in your lane. With that being said, even though he's not trying, he's still, I would argue, the best player out of the 15 I'm naming. You could make an argument. Even though he's only going at like 50%. Then you can make an argument if he ever goes 100%. Like I said, he'd be in the league. Murasakibara, also 6'10". Also naturally gifted. But he doesn't try, because when he tries, not only will he hurt himself, but he'll hurt whoever's guarding him due to the sheer power that he holds. Now, it's stated in the anime that in a middle school game, which is when he was probably 6'6" going against people in middle school, he dropped 100 points on somebody in a middle school game. So he can try, but in the anime, he literally does not try on offense. As in, if everyone's going back on offense, he'll stay back on defense. He does not try. But, just like LSK, if you get him riled up and you catch him on a bad day, you're in for a long day. The next one on this list was actually one of the first few that I made comparison to that I actually had to look up, like, this first one I had to struggle with. We got Deonte Friega. D3, well, former D3, now affiliated with Ball's Life, will eventually go pro, hopefully. His comparison, Akira Shindo from Slam Dunk. If Fundamentally Sound was a player, it would be Deonte Friega. If you want him to drive the ball, his drive is forward strong. Jump shot, wet. Defense, clamps. Athleticism, D3 bounce. That's not my saying it. He said that himself. Why he's not a pro? Panoramic. His playstyle could be described by a simple, also young man, I think about the same age, NFL defensive lineman Chase Young. Cool, calm, collected. Sendo is the exact same way. Cool, calm, collected. Anything you need, he got you. Need a bucket? Got it. Pick and roll? Easy. Defense? Unlock. If these two went 1v1, it would be a tie. I don't think there'd be a winner here. They'd probably play 10 games and be 5-5 apiece. They just keep going back and forth. Next up on the list, we're getting down to the final few. You have to bear with me here. We got Bdot, Adot. If you watch any sort of basketball anime, I spell all over the place. You know his comparison is Kisei Ryota from Kuroko no Basket. Now, I could call Bdot Kakashi and just call it a day, but that'd be way too easy. He can literally just watch a Bdot video where he's literally copying your favorite basketball players to the letter. I'd insert the Dwayne Wade video where even Dwayne Wade was like, wait, I do that? And then he went and did the move that Bdot did, and he was like, oh shit, I do that. But he's not just that. He's not just a copycat. I believe they say he played in the G League, or he could have. I think I saw him play professional a few times. And if you have not seen a Bdot video, you have seen a Bdot video. Because if you see somebody doing on TikTok copying players, or you see someone else on YouTube copying NBA players, they're copying Bdot because he did it first. Ironic, isn't it? So, of course, Kisei is his perfect copy, pun intended. They literally do the same thing. Oh, I see you did that move. I'm going to do it. And I'm going to do it better than you. He's a literal copy. Off the first watch, he'll do it. And then when we get to the movie, good lord, he literally becomes the best player in the anime. And that's saying a lot from the people in Kuroko no Basket. I told you again, we're in the final countdown. And don't worry, this is going to be a quick one. We got master of the how did you jump that high, Chris Staples, and Kagami Tiger from Kuroko no Basket. Look, I'm going to make this one short and sweet. Look at a Chris Staples dunk. Look at a Kagami Tiger dunk. Chris Staples, Kagami, Tiger. Yes, they can both shoot. Yes, they will beat almost anybody who isn't a Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan. But their both main strength is dunking the ball or their jumping ability. Now, is it their fault they have RPGs in replacement of their ACLs? I don't know what you're asking me for. I just made a list. Next up, I had to wear his merch, so I had to put him in the list. Cash Nasty. His comparison? Nebuya Akichi. Nebuya Akichi from Kuroko no Basket. Now, if you took a muscle, as in you literally took a physical muscle out your body, like out your arm, you took the bicep muscle, and you gave it whatever Bruce Banner put into his system. Then you put a beard on it. Then you gave it a southern accent and told it to dribble the ball. You'd have Cash Nasty. He's, in my opinion, the most entertaining person on this list. I always watch Cash Nasty videos. He is hilarious. His muscles, unmatched. His drive to the basket and then spinning and going up with a left-handed layup, unguardable. I mean, it's unguardable after he misses the first one, then grabs the rebound, then misses the second one, then grabs the rebound, then goes up with two hands to finish it off, and then looks at the camera and say, "You don't watch film." His defense, A+ against anybody who cannot literally run away from him. By that I mean literally. By that I mean he can't get up in them. Whether that be they run fast, or they literally are just faster than him. Insert video versus T-Jazz. Or they're way bigger than him. Insert video versus Big Baby Davis. Now his shot, wet like water. From the top of the key. Only. Sometimes wet like water from the wing. Or I say more like wet like a washing machine. On a good day. I watch a lot of his videos. Can you tell I'm familiar with his playstyle? Now the only character even close to Cash Nasty is Nebuya. And that's only based on strength. Because unfortunately, Mr. Cash Nasty, their anime does not really value pure locks. Most people in anime, they're all flash. They're great defenders, but they're all flash. As in, great defenders, but they're mainly focused on offense. There's only one player who's focused on defense, and your offense is far greater than his. And so is your defense, because he's a jabroni. Not you, Mr. Nash. I'm talking about the other person I was going to compare you with originally. But yeah, all flash. The only flash thing about Cash Nasty, his personality, his chains, and his sneaker collection. Oh, and the merch. Love the merch. Buy YouTubers merch. Last on the list. Arguably the best. If you look up any list from last year and going into this year, the general consensus is he is number one. And then he beat Deonte Friega in a 1v1 with money on the line in the best of 5. And he proved he's number one. We got Dev in the lab. In his comparison, Ayomine Daiki from Kuroko no Basket. Like I said, arguably the best basketball player currently not on a professional team. Albeit age or injuries or he just doesn't want to. It may be age because he is a dad. And like a dad, he will talk to you while he's kicking your ass. I physically believe there is nobody who can guard him more than once per game. As in, you may get him to miss. But did you stop him? Or did he just miss? That's the question. Someone else who is stupidly OP and can just make everything that he throws in the general direction of a backboard is Ayomine. As in, he literally chooses when he wants to go 100%. In the anime, he cruise controls at about 50% through majority of the time he's on screen. He occasionally ramps up to 75 when another person decides to try and do something special. And when he goes 100%, in fact, his only loss is because of plot armor. And even in the anime, they explain that if they rewrote that again, that game that he lost, if they rewrote it again, he's going to win that second time because he will physically rewrite the script. He will rewrite the rewrite and win anyway because they beat him off pure luck and plot armor. Don't say plot armor is only in other anime. It is in basketball too. It is in sports anime in general. Believe that. Alright, that is the end. Share this with your YouTubers. Add them on Twitter. Get them to react to it. This is not 100% clickbait, but I would love to see their opinions on this. And put more YouTubers in the description. I have a whole other 15 YouTubers that I could have put on this list, but I could not find a good description or person to match them with without having two people be the same person. So if I make another list, I may use some of the same people from this list, and characters from this list to describe them. And I may find more, because I'm always looking out for more basketball anime and manga and webtoons and all that. Look, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Come back for the next one.